going to welcome our panel now. So we've got Stephanie Edwards, who's Head of Infrastructure Policy at the Office for Low Emission Vehicles, basically in charge of, or partly in charge of government policy for handing out some money. David Rollifson is Director of Transportation at TRL. Ross Fairley, partner at Burgess Salmon, and Simon Harrison from Mott MacDonald. Please welcome our panel.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. So, as was introduced, my name is Stephanie Edwards. I'm Head of Infrastructure Policy at the UK Office for Low Emission Vehicles. So we are the cross-government team that deals with all policy towards electric vehicles, fuel cell electric vehicles, and other types of ultra-low emission vehicles in the UK. So, as it stands, road transport in its current iteration is unsustainable for the UK. That's for air quality reasons, for climate change reasons, and also, frankly, from an industrial strategy perspective as well, as we look at other countries across the globe transitioning to cleaner forms of road transport. So the UK government has a clear mission at the heart of its industrial strategy, and that is to put the UK at the forefront of the design and manufacturing of ultra-low emission vehicles, and for all new cars and vans to be effectively zero emission by 2040. And this year we published our Road to Zero strategy, which sets out the £1.5 billion programme of work which will support the UK to make that transition. But change can't wait till 2040. In the strategy we also set out our long-term ambitions and the trajectory for how we'll get there. So clearly, infrastructure is crucial to meeting those ambitions. So we have a vision for an infrastructure network in the UK of charge points that is self-sustaining. So we want the delivery of charge points in the UK to be market-led and eventually for us to remove government subsidies. We want the infrastructure network to be affordable for both consumers and taxpayers as a whole. So that includes looking at really innovative solutions like smart vehicle-to-grid and other aspects that allow us to bring down the cost of installing and running infrastructure. We want the infrastructure network to be accessible for everyone. So that means having a really high standard of the consumer offer, but also making sure that all groups of transport users can use and access charge point infrastructure. And finally, we want a network that is reliable, so that drivers can have confidence they can turn up to a charge point and be able to use it. So what that means in practice, so I'll just leave it on that slide for now, is we see a future for electric vehicle charge points that includes access to residential charging for those who both have off and on-street parking, destination charging, so at places like supermarkets and other retail facilities, workplace charging for those who commute to work, and a really comprehensive and accessible public network that allows people to have confidence to make longer journeys, for instance, on the strategic roads network. So as I mentioned, we want the transition to more charge points in the UK to be market-led, but government does recognise its role in providing the right policy framework for that development, and also has a number of initiatives right now to help kickstart the market. So this includes some of the initiatives we announced as part of the Road to Zero strategy. So I've listed these out on this slide. That includes a commitment for every new home and lamppost, where appropriate, to have a charge point, to set up an EV energy task force with industry to think of innovative ways that we can ensure the energy system is ready. And we also have a range of grant schemes. So that includes grants for charge points that are installed at homes, at workplaces, and in on-street residential settings. We also have £60 million of funding for a series of 8 Pathfinder cities, the Go Ultra Low cities, and as part of that scheme, there will be the installation of around 17 government-funded rapid charging hubs across the country. We also have announced a £400 million investment fund to invest in public charge point infrastructure. So this will help accelerate the rollout of charging infrastructure by providing access to finance for companies that deliver charge points, and also provide the demonstration of the investability of the sector to the wider financial community. So at the moment, we're just going through a process to appoint a fund manager for that fund, and hope to be able to announce a preferred bidder shortly. We're also taking forward a number of regulatory measures that help support one of the best electric vehicle infrastructure networks in the world. This includes the recently passed Automated Electric Vehicles Act, which gives government powers to intervene around issues of access and connection, information provision by charge point operators, reliability, and also powers to mandate the installation of charge points at large fuel retailers and motorway service areas if necessary. We also have recently transposed an EU directive into UK law, which looks at ensuring that all charge points in the UK, or public charge points, have what we call ad hoc access as well. So that's the kind of summary of our offer, and I'm sure looking forward to the panel discussion where we'll go into a bit more detail of each of those areas. Thank you.
Very much, Stephanie.